Walter's Sports Bar has been recognized by many local publications as one of the best sports bars in Washington, D.C., located across the street from Nationals Park and open year-round.
Kirby's 3-2 to Bell. Swinging a ball blasted to left field deep. Arozarena going back. It's over his head, and this one's going to go. It's down into the Nationals bullpen. Opposite field home run for Bell. And the Nationals go back-to-back here in the second inning and lead it 2-0. That is Bell's 7th of the year. He goes the opposite way for the big fly off of George Kirby. George Kirby has retired Wood twice. First pitch here in the 5th inning. It's cracked a mile high, deep right field. When will it land? Oh my goodness. Off the facing of the second deck. James Wood has done it again. That's number 15, makes it 6-0. Get yourself some pizza, James Wood. That was a tape measure home run for the second night in a row. My, oh my.
And welcome to Nats Chat along with MASNsports.com Nationals insider Mark Zuckerman, who was at T-Mobile Park in Seattle. I'm Al Galdi, host of the Al Galdi podcast. The Nats came into Wednesday having totaled just 6 runs over the team's last 4 games. The Nats late night on Wednesday night totaled 9 runs. A much-needed offensive outburst, this in a 9-0 win at the Seattle Mariners in Game 2 of a 3-game series. The Nats in MLB's 2025 regular season now are 25-30. You can find us on X at Nats_chat. You can find us on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email us, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. And we have a website you can check out, natschatpodcast.com, at which you can purchase a Nats Chat podcast t-shirt. A big offensive output from the Nats late night on Wednesday night. 9 runs, 12 hits, 4 walks, 3 for 8 with runners in scoring position. The 12 hits were 4 home runs, 4 doubles, and 4 singles. But as good as the offense was, the most shocking and pleasantly surprising development of the game was starting pitcher Trevor Williams, who of course had been really bad. He was really good. He tossed 6 scoreless innings, and it's funny how things work out. Hours earlier, starting pitcher Cade Cavalli, perhaps applying some pressure on Trevor Williams. Cavalli for AAA Rochester, he had a 5-0 win over the Columbus Clippers on Wednesday afternoon, tossed 5 scoreless innings with 10 strikeouts versus 1 walk. Mark, I don't know if that provided extra motivation for Trevor Williams, but whatever the case, he was really good, and the Nats got themselves a really nice win.
I mean, you could not have scripted a different game, a more different game from 24 hours earlier when they get blown out 9-1. They're down early. They never look like they have any chance of doing anything. And then they come back the next night and completely seize control early on, get sustained offense throughout the game, get a great pitching performance from someone who had not given them a performance like that in quite a while, if at all, this season. I mean, who is this team? It's really bizarre. Maybe we just have to accept that this is who the 2025 Nationals are. You don't know on any given night which version you're going to get. They're either going to look really good, like they did in this one, or they're going to look the complete opposite of that, like they did on Tuesday. You just hope in the long run that there are more of the good nights than the bad nights.
The Nats in this game, 2 runs top of the 2nd, 3 runs top of the 4th, a run top of the 5th, 3 runs top of the 8th. And you earlier on Wednesday put out on X the stat of the day, maybe the stat of the season, and that is basically this. When the Nats score first, they win. When the Nats don't score first, they lose.
It's now 19-7 when they score first, and it's 6-23 when the opponents score first. That is such a stark difference. Obviously, I didn't look up every other team, but I mean, the standard operation would be, yeah, you score first, you have a better chance of winning than if you don't. But I mean, that is a dramatic difference. And it underscores what we've been kind of suggesting here for a while, that you can usually tell a couple innings in what kind of night it's going to be, especially on the offensive side of things. And it's not like they're playing a lot of low-scoring 2-1 games where that first run really means something in the grand scheme. No, it's more about just setting the tone for the whole night. It's not that like, they score the first run in the 5th inning and it's a real low-scoring game, and so that first one matters. No, it's you can tell. You can tell a couple innings in, how's the lineup doing against this opposing starter? How is their own starter doing? And there's not a lot of variables from that point on. For better or worse, when they do it the right way, when they get off to a good start like this, it's a fun thing to watch.
Yeah, it does feel like 80% of the Nats runs have come in like 20% of their games. Like you do get that sense just anecdotally. The Nats have had some big wins and then they've had so many losses in which the team has scored like 3 runs or less. But, you know, the overall offensive output is what it is. And we've talked about the Nats' improvement when it comes to hitting home runs. 4 homers in this game late night on Wednesday night. The Nats for this regular season now are tied for 14th out of 30 major league teams in home runs with 57. Marked improvement from finishing 29th in the majors in homers for each of the last 2 regular seasons. I mean, if the Nats can keep this up and move up 15 spots in terms of home runs, that is just tremendous, if in fact that can end up being the case here. So a lot of offensive standouts for the Nats in this game. James Wood continues to kill it. I don't think enough good things can be said about the season that this guy is having. He is the Nats starting left fielder and number 2 batter. Went 2 for 4 with a solo homer, a 2-run double, a walk, and a stolen base. Wood in the Nats 1-run 5th, a first pitch leadoff homer on a bomb to right field for a 6-0 Nats lead. The homer going a projected 435 feet per Statcast. So James Wood homering for a second consecutive game, hitting a moonshot for a second consecutive game. He is doing quite well at T-Mobile Park so far.
Oh, it's been a fantastic series to date for him. And by the way, 50% off pizza. Did you see the new commercial that just debuted on Wednesday with James Wood doing quite the acting job, I have to say, along with a young actress that he was working with in that Papa John's commercial. And he's paying off immediately by hitting another home run. He is now on pace for 44 home runs and 118 RBI over the season. It doesn't mean he's going to get there. We're 1/3 of the way through this. A lot of things can happen between now and then. But to be on that kind of pace, those are numbers that only a couple of Nationals have ever reached. And he's doing it at age 22 and off to this kind of dominant start at the plate. You can't say enough good things about it. It's so fun to see this with your own eyes, it all coming together for him like this at such a young age.
Well, as we are recording this installment of the podcast, and it is, let's see here, 1:25 a.m. Eastern, one of the nice things about this is that all of the games for MLB on Wednesday are done, so we can actually look at leaderboards and see exactly where the Nats stack up. So James Wood, as we speak here for this regular season, OPS of 949, that of course is number 1 among all qualified Nats. That is number 8 among all qualified major league players. The home run total at 15, that of course number 1 on the Nats, ranks tied for number 6 in the majors. I mean, he quantifiably has been one of the top 10 hitters in the sport so far this season. He is special. And one of the things that we've noted is when it comes to guys like this, if they are going to be special, you notice it early on. You know, usually it's like you don't become special. You either are special or you aren't. And this guy's special. You know, we saw signs of it last season. We're really seeing it here this season. And, you know, for all of the angst over Dylan Cruz and for all of the angst over other guys in this rebuild and for all of the angst about this Nats rebuild period, or for a conversation about the Ken Rosenthal piece on the last installment of the podcast, here you have James Wood, exactly what he was brought here to be, a franchise cornerstone type player. He certainly looks like that right now.
And as you were saying, when you look at anybody in the history of the game who has done these kinds of things at this young of an age, it is almost exclusively all-time greats. There's a few stragglers in there, guys who didn't pan out in the long run. But for the most part, because I remember we did this with Bryce Harper, we did it with Juan Soto when they were doing so much at such a young age. And the handful of players, it's, you know, Mickey Mantle, it's Mel Ott, it's Ken Griffey Jr., these guys who started at such a young age and did such an incredible job at such a young age. And inevitably, they went on to have not just good careers, but all-time great careers. And that's a lot to put on James Wood's shoulders. Doesn't mean he's guaranteed to do it, but all the ingredients are there for him, not just to have a big year this year, but to really become something special. You can see what he does. It's a different sound off the bat. It's a different way that he plays the game, a different authority with which he hits the baseball. And oh, by the way, he runs the base as well, does all those other things so well. So enjoy it. I know it's been really hard getting through these last few years. I know that trade still burns a lot of people. But look, finally, at what you're getting as a result of it, even if all the other guys don't pan out. And MacKenzie Gore and C.J. Abrams and Robert Hassell and maybe even Harleen Susana are also doing quite well in their own rights. But James Wood alone is worth the price of admission. That's a pretty amazing thing.
You know, we have not talked about what is happening with our good friend Juan Soto these days. There is a lot going on with Juan Soto these days, and the majority of it is not good. And right now, is there a Nationals fan on the planet who straight up would trade James Wood for Juan Soto? I'm guessing probably not. And think about that statement, less than 3 years removed from that trade on August 22nd, 2022. Hey, it's Al Galdi for Window Nation. May is officially here, and so are the rising temperatures. Before you know it, you'll be wondering what else you can do to keep cool during the dog days of summer. Beat the heat and keep the AC in your home with Window Nation's energy-efficient vinyl windows. During Window Nation's semi-annual sale, buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows. Plus, no money down, no interest, and no monthly payments until 2027. That's a whole lot of savings and a super smart investment, especially when prices are rising. So how exactly does Window Nation keep prices affordable? Well, Window Nation works directly with the top window manufacturers in the country, which means all of Window Nation's windows are assembled right here in the USA. Plus, Window Nation windows come with a lifetime warranty, so you'll keep saving long into the future. Window Nation's semi-annual sale ends on May 31st. Buy 4 windows, get 4 windows free, and a free entry door when you purchase a house full of windows, plus pay nothing until 2027. Schedule your estimate right now at 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION or windownation.com, and tell Window Nation that Al Galdi from the Nats Chat podcast sent you.
The right-hander deals, swinging a long drive, right center field for Hassell. Back to Veras, looking at the wall, and there it goes. Robert Hassell III's first big league home run. Into the seats in right center, a no-doubter. The Nationals had the extra point and lead at 7-0. Hassell circles the bases for the first time as a big leaguer. And thanks to those fans, they throw the ball back so Hassell can get that memorable souvenir, a big-time keepsake, his 3rd hit of the game, his first Major League home run.
Well, also acquired in that trade was Robert Hassell III. He, late night on Wednesday night as the Nats starting center fielder and number 7 batter, went 3 for 5 with a solo homer, an RBI single, and another single. Hassell in a Nats 3-run 8th had a 1-out full count solo homer to right center field for a 7-0 Nats lead, and for his first Major League regular season home run, that homer going a projected 416 feet per Statcast. Hassell had struggled a bit since the Nats on May 21st announced having recalled him from AAA Rochester. Small sample size, of course, but he in this game did well. Good to see him do well.
A big night for Hassell, of course, and one that was probably coming here at some point from him. He said he actually had a conversation with Davey Martinez before the game, and Davey said to him, don't worry too much about trying to do everything for us right now. Just go be yourself. You know who you are. You know what you're capable of. Go be that guy. And Robert said that he took the field feeling a little different for this one, and he gets off with a good start, a couple of opposite field singles. The second one, a great piece of 2-out, 2-strike hitting to drive in a run. And then Bobby Barrel showed up in the 8th inning with a towering blast to right center for his first career homer. So it ends up a 3-hit night for him. And on a night where, yes, he hit his first homer, I think he felt better about the opposite field hits, especially that 2-out, 2-strike RBI hit to left, because he knows that's really his calling card, who he is. Yes, he can barrel it up along with the nickname, but he's at his best when he's spraying the ball all over the field and coming through in big spots like that.
Yeah, he was impressive in this game for sure. Luis Garcia Jr. homered. He is the Nats starting second baseman and number 5 batter. Went 1 for 4 with a solo homer and a walk. Garcia in a Nats 2-run second had a 1-out solo homer to right center for a 1-0 Nats lead. That homer went a projected 404 feet per Statcast. And Josh Bell, he is the Nats starting DH and number 6 batter. Went 3 for 5 with a solo homer and 2 singles. Bell in the Nats 2-run second, a 1-out full count opposite field solo homer to left left field for a 2-0 Nats lead. You know, I mentioned the possibility, half kidding, half serious, of Cade Cavalli doing well, perhaps putting pressure on Trevor Williams. Also, with the Nats on Wednesday, they on Wednesday morning announced having returned first baseman Andres Chaparro from his minor league rehab assignment, having reinstated him from the 10-day injured list and having optioned him to AAA Rochester. He had been on the 10-day IL since March 26th, retroactive to March 24th due to an oblique strain. I don't know to what degree the Nats view Chaparro as a potential Josh Bell replacement, but I know the thought crossed my mind of, if Bell continues to struggle and Chaparro shows well for himself at Rochester, could it be that Chaparro replaces Bell? And sure enough, Bell goes out and has himself a nice game late night on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I don't know if a straight up replacement, but certainly a platoon partner possibility who could take at bats away from him and maybe even get, more starts and relegate Bell to more of a bench duty, which could be coming here at some point. Yeah, boy, did he need this game. And I mean, think about this. He had not had a multi-hit game yet this season. He's now got a 3-hit game, not just a 2-hit game, but a 3-hit game for the first time. That home run opposite field, you don't see him do that very often at all. So that was a nice piece of hitting by him. And then to come through with a couple more singles. And oh, by the way, he almost hit another homer. He hit one to the warning track in the 8th inning in his 4th at bat of the game. So he was on the ball. Now, we've been duped before, so I don't want to get too excited by this, but we know how streaky Josh Bell is historically. And very frequently, it is one big game that gets him on track and you see him take off for weeks at a time. The fact that this wasn't just one big swing from him, but 3 hits plus another drive that nearly went out. I'll be really interested to see what he does on Thursday night and over the rest of the weekend when they get to Arizona. Could this finally be the turning point that gets him going? Again, I'm not counting on anything with him. He's got to earn it. He's got to prove it. But it wouldn't shock me if we come back and look at this game as the one that finally got him going.
And Bell, part of a lower portion of a Nationals lineup that really produced in this game. So many games this season, we have seen the bottom half of the Nats lineup do so little. In this game, the bottom half did quite well. The bottom 4 batters, Josh Bell, Robert Hassell III, Jose Tena, and Dalen Lyle in this game, combining for 9 hits. Really good stuff. I mentioned Tena. He did not homer, but he had himself 2 doubles in this game. He is the Nats starting third baseman and number 8 batter, 2 for 4 with a 2-run double and another double. The Nats did all they did offensively, despite C.J. Abrams going 0 for 4, did draw a hit by pitch. Abrams has cooled off a bit here in recent games, but still good to see the Nats have a big offensive game in which their second best batter this season doesn't do much for them.
Right. To get that production from the bottom half of the lineup, that's huge. We know you look at the order on a given night and look at the batting averages and the OPSs of spots like 6 through 9 consistently. It's not pretty. So to see that kind of production, I think, was important. Let's talk about Tena, who it hasn't been great, but you do see these signs of life from him, that he has the ability to do it. I mentioned how big the Hassell opposite field 2-out RBI single was. Tena follows that up with a 2-out, 2-run opposite field double for him. And how about Ricky Gutierrez with the aggressive sends on both of those hits? Watching it live, I'm seeing where the ball is in left field and where the runner is approaching third. And I'm thinking, this has disaster written all over it. Both runners scored with ease. I think that's a good scouting job by the Nationals, and good on Ricky Gutierrez for recognizing that Randy Arozarena has a below average arm, and you saw it on both of those plays. And so the aggressive sends, I think, paid off. I know in the end they won by so much you don't really pay attention to that kind of thing. But in the moment, those were some key runs that they scored.
Absolutely. And the Nats ultimately just shredding the Mariners starting pitcher in this game, George Kirby. He allowed 6 runs in 5 innings. The Nats homering 3 times off Kirby late night on Wednesday night.
Life as a small business owner, everything is your problem and there aren't enough hours in the day. That's where LinkedIn Jobs, and by proxy Nats Chat, are here to help. For those crucial hires that you absolutely can't whiff on, turn to LinkedIn Jobs. Simply post your job and LinkedIn will take it from there, making sure it gets in front of the properly qualified candidates who are searching themselves. Find out why more than 2.5 million small business owners have turned to LinkedIn Jobs to grow their staff. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/natschat. That's linkedin.com/natschat to post your jobs for free. LINKEDIN.com/NATSCHAT. Terms and conditions apply.
Here's the 0-1. Breaking ball hit in the air to straightaway center field. Robert Hassell looking up into the twilight sky. He finds it after losing it for a moment, and he makes the catch off his side. That completes the shutout. Final score 9-0. Trevor Williams gets the win. The Nationals bang out 4 home runs and even the series here in Seattle in a rout with a 9-0 final score.
So the Nats starting pitcher in this 9-0 win at the Mariners late night on Wednesday night was Trevor Williams. We know the deal with Trevor Williams. He has been struggling big time. He has been struggling to a point to where we've talked multiple times about whether he will be / should be removed from the Nats rotation. But Williams went out on Wednesday night and pitched himself a heck of a game here. 6 shutout innings. He gave up just 3 hits, all of which were singles. He issued no walks. He recorded just 2 strikeouts, but he threw a lot of strikes, 77 pitches, 54 strikes, just 23 balls. And as Davey Martinez told you after the game, the lack of strikeouts might have actually been by design for Trevor Williams.
Right. In looking back at his recent starts, and especially his most recent one against the Braves, there were 3 walks in that game and a lot of times that he was behind in the count, and they felt like he was maybe chasing swings and misses too much. And we know that's really not who Trevor Williams is. He's a guy that, if he's going to be successful, has to induce weak contact and do it by throwing strikes, usually down in the zone. And so he really set out in this game to not have, as he described it, those self-inflicted wounds that he incurred the last time out. And what did you see? First inning, 1, 2, 3, 6 pitches, 4 strikes. Gets through the second inning, another 1, 2, 3 inning on 11 pitches, 7 strikes. He kept the pitch count so far down that if he's a normal starting pitcher who's allowed to go deep in games, he's got a shot at a complete game in this one. But because he's Trevor Williams and we don't mess around with like that with him, especially given the way he's pitched here lately, he gets through 6 scoreless on 76 and gets a bunch of handshakes in the dugout for a job well done. Thank you. No reason to press your luck on that one. A big time start from him when he needed it. And on a night when they scored early, yes, you can pitch with a little more comfort, but good on him for not even giving the Mariners a chance to sniff their way back into this game.
He wasn't really trying to miss bats. I mean, he was in the zone, which was awesome.
It was beautiful, right? The Nats get out to an early lead. The pitcher throws strikes, works economically, works quickly. Like, that's exactly what you want to see. And no doubt, if ever there was a game in which you have your starting pitcher exit on a high note, it is this game with this guy. He has really been in a bad way. He is in a good way in this game. 6 shutout innings. Perfect. Get him out. Thank you. And see you next time. And, you know, look, you have Williams doing what he did. You have Cade Cavalli, who looked excellent for Rochester on Wednesday afternoon. You know, we talked on the last installment of the podcast whose grip on his spot in the rotation is the least firm right now, Mitchell Parker's or Trevor Williams's. I mean, look, this is one good start for Trevor Williams. We're not going to go nuts, but you've outlined why the Nats are more likely to keep Williams in the rotation than maybe people recognize. Cavalli's knocking on the door. You wonder if this next start for Mitchell Parker is perhaps him trying to save his spot in this Nats rotation.
Yeah, it could be. Although the more I think about and the more I asked around about Cavalli, I'm not convinced that he's as close as we all hope that he is. The performances the last 3 times out have been fantastic. I think it's 23 strikeouts and 3 walks over his last 3 games. And certainly on Wednesday, it was dominant stuff over 5 innings. But I think what's telling is this. They've held him to like 70, 75 pitches in each one of these outings. And I asked Davey Martinez on Wednesday about that idea of, because they're being careful with him and they know he's got a limited workload over the whole season, are they going to keep him there, or do they need to build him up to say 90, 100 pitches before they'd bring him up? And Davey made it seem like they do need and want him to go more to get at least that 90 pitch mark before they make the move. So is that going to happen next time out? Is it going to happen 2 times out from now? I'm not 100% sure. The other thing to consider, I had not thought about this, and it was raised to me by somebody else who has considered this sort of thing. And I don't know for sure that the Nats are taking this into consideration, but I could understand why they would. We've talked about all this time that he's been on the IL, all the big league service time that he has accrued. He's got over 2 years of big league service time. And by opening the season, I think it's 45 days on the Major League IL. He's up to like 2 years and 86 days already. This is getting in the weeds here a little bit, but if he gets just 86 more days of big league service time this year, he'll hit the 3-year mark, which means, number one, he's eligible for arbitration next winter, but more than that, he'd become a free agent at 6 years. So I believe at 2028, become a free agent. If you can keep him to less than 86 days in the big leagues this year, you keep him under the 3-year mark and essentially buy another year of him down the road. For as much time as they've wasted with him, I could absolutely see them wanting to hold off on that in an attempt to try to get more out of him once he is finally healthy. So do the math. It could be the first week of July, even the All-Star break, for them to play that safe. I don't know for a fact that they're going to do that, but it was brought to my attention and something that I think is worth keeping an eye on.
That does make sense. And I would not blame the Nats for playing that game because they have paid him a good bit of money and he has accrued a good bit of service time these last few years with being out due to the Tommy John surgery. So I know it's not what people necessarily want to hear, but I think from a front office perspective, holding him out would make some sense. The Nats bullpen in this 9-0 win at the Mariners late night on Wednesday night. Really good. 3 Nats relievers combined for 3 scoreless innings. Brad Lord, a scoreless bottom of the 7th with 2 strikeouts despite giving up 2 singles. Jose A. Ferrer, perfect bottom of the 8th. And Zach Brixey, a perfect bottom of the 9th. Here's my question. The Nats are up big. Why is it that Davey Martinez uses 3 relievers in a game like this? Like, why isn't it the case that just one guy can't eat up those last 3 innings? When Brad Lord came into the game, I said to myself, okay, here is a perfect spot for Brad Lord, who this team supposedly is grooming as a starting pitcher while he's serving as a reliever, to work multiple innings. I get that he gave up 2 hits in that bottom of the 7th, but he only pitches the 1 inning, and then that's it. And then Davey uses 2 more relievers in the game. I didn't quite get that.
I had the same thoughts as you when he came in, thinking, okay, here you go. Here's an opportunity. And, he threw 26 pitches. So that's a bit high, but you could come back for a second inning, I think. Maybe not all 3, but you could at least try to come back for a second inning. At the time, it's still 5-0. So maybe you're thinking it's a kind of a close game and he's worried. I was half expecting to see Kyle Finnegan pitch before the day was done. He is good to go. He's been cleared. Everything's fine with the shoulder, but the situation didn't arise because they were up by so much that they didn't need him. I wonder if at 5-0, he would have gone ahead and thrown his closer just to get him the work in what was still a mildly, somewhat close game. But yeah, I agree. They have several guys in this bullpen who we think should be considered long relievers, and they rarely will use anybody for more than 2 innings and often just using them for 1. I can't speak to why that exactly is, except to say that maybe they haven't quite been efficient enough in that first inning to make it a slam dunk argument to send them back out there for another.
Just seemed like a prime opportunity for someone to, pitch more than 1 inning, and instead 3 relievers work 3 innings. But the Nats get the win, and a good opportunity here to get the series win, because Game 3, Thursday night at 9:40, the ace, MacKenzie Gore, is starting. This would be a really good series win. Seattle is one of the best teams in the majors. For the Nats to take 2 out of 3 at the Mariners, if in fact the Nats do that, that would be a very nice accomplishment.
Well, especially the way the first game in the series went, because you're not thinking in those terms at all at that time. But as always, pay attention to the first 2 innings. How does Gore look? How does the offense look? You're going to have a good idea a couple innings into this game what kind of night it's going to be. Maybe we'll finally get a close game because the first 2 games have been blowouts in one direction or the other. Maybe we'll get some late night, late inning drama either on the offensive side or on the bullpen side. Honestly, I wouldn't mind that so much because it's kind of been, as good as this game is, it was a little boring. I wouldn't mind a little more excitement. So let's have some late night drama here on Thursday night. What do you think?
Well, not too late for those of us who are up late working, but yes, I hear you. As you were out on West Coast time and we are back here slugging it in the Eastern time zone.
I do have to catch an early flight Friday morning to Phoenix, so I don't want it to be too late either. But just let's have the game still kind of be in doubt there in the 8th and 9th innings. How about that?
All right, you better be careful with what you're asking for. So we'll see what goes down late night on Thursday night. And by the way, we have a late night game Friday night, and then we have a super late night game Saturday night, 10-10 at the Arizona Diamondbacks on Saturday night. So Get your coffee ready. Get your energy drinks ready. You tell us what you think. Hit us up on X at Nats_chat. Hit us up on Blue Sky at Nats Chat Podcast. You can email the program, including if you would like to sponsor the show. Hit up Tim Shovers. He runs this thing, does a great job for us. And the email address is natschatpodcast@gmail.com. You could also request a shout out on the Nats Chat Podcast. Ask Tim about that. Again, the email address, natschatpodcast@gmail.com. All Nationals radio highlights on Nats Chat are courtesy of 106.7 The Fan. For Mark Zuckerman, I'm Al Galdi. We thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you next time on the Nats Chat Podcast.
James, come in. Sit down. You're too tall. 2 fresh pies, James. Which one tastes better?
They taste the same?
They taste the same. Wrong. This one's better because it's half off. Now what are you gonna do about it?
I could hit some more home runs.
That's why I like you, James.
When James Wood hits a home run, Papa John's pizzas are half price the following day with promo code JW50.